Hello, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new here. Thanks for stopping by. We're gonna do a mani with the new Creme Luxe polish from Luxie Nails, and we're gonna chit chat a little bit about Love is Blind season 6, because I have nobody to talk this over with other than my husband. So, sorry guys, guess it's gonna be you. Love is Blind is a Netflix show that focuses on, can love really be blind? Can you fall in love with someone without ever seeing them? And they make you prove it. You have a set amount of time, usually about a week, maybe 2, to date, get to know, and fall in love with somebody. You don't get to see them. You're not really supposed to ask them what they look like. Though it seems like this season, people were breaking that rule. And oh my goodness. This season has been full of people for the streets, men who need to be in the bin, and ladies who are not a girl's girl. So let's get into it. This is the new color Pirouette that is releasing Friday night from Luxie Nail. I'll call out on screen what product I'm using, and any tips or tricks are going to show up as pop-ups. So keep your eye out, listen for the spring sound for when a new product is being used. Otherwise, I'm just going to chat about Love is Blind. All right, since I'm late to the party on this, we are just going to start from when the couples are home from the honeymoon and things start falling apart. We leave with, let's see, we have Brittany and Kenneth, Jimmy and Chelsea, Adie and Clay, Laura and Jeremy, and Amy and Johnny. Since they leave early, we're going to start with Kenneth and Brittany. Oh my goodness, this couple. So Brittany's a doll, salt of the earth, totally adorable saint as far as I'm concerned. Kenneth. He's a young man, he's a principal, I believe he's a pastor or a youth pastor, and he apparently has a pretty severe phone addiction. They come home, they're given their phones back, and it's all he can do. I literally wanted to reach through the screen and knock the phone out of his hands. She was trying to unpack, being cozy, getting, all nesty, asking him, oh, do you like the left? Do you like the right? In the bathroom, do you want the left? Do you want the right? Nothing. He's giving her nothing. He's just like nose deep in the phone. We see very little from them until we end up catching up with them later on, and she's really upset. She's talking to him about how she's not feeling the love, or she's not getting any affection, and what she calls the crave, like she's not feeling it like she was in the pods. And he is just not giving her anything. He won't put his phone down. He is barely replying, except to basically tell her, oh, no, it's all you. I'm still here. I still feel it, but I deserve more than just us trying to make this work. So let's just call it. She's sobbing. She's crying. And he is still on his phone. Within 10 minutes, it's the edit, but it looked like within 10 minutes, he is calling his buddy to come pick him up. And he's out. He's just done. It was so sad to see that. The next couple to call it quits, Jeremy and Laura. The tea on Jeremy out on the internet is that he was engaged and living in a home that he shared and owned with his fiance almost right up until filming. They sold their home. He moved into a model home. It looks like a rental for sure. And it's pristine. 2 Roombas are running. It looks like a decorator came in there and stocked it. It looks beautiful, and Laura is loving it. Laura loves how meticulous he is, loves how clean he is, hates his Hawaiian shirts. I mean, if that's the worst he's doing, let the man have his Hawaiian shirts. But it's not. It is not. So Jeremy's choices were Laura or Sarah Ann. Laura, it was cerebral, it was emotional. Sarah Ann, it was very flirty, not very deep, but very, like very vibes, very sexual attraction. And he decided to go for emotional and cerebral. Great. Laud the man. Except, maybe he wasn't too sure of his choice. And maybe he didn't make it too clear that the door was shut. Because Sarah Ann, as soon as she's home, has messaged him, slipped into those DMs, and is like, hey, if you change your mind, I'd love to meet you. Gross. Sarah Ann, the man is engaged. What are you doing? Can we have a little bit of pride here? He didn't pick you. He didn't pick you about that. She's like, you must have let the door open somehow, some way, for her to feel like she could send that. But, he's like, look how transparent I am. I'm showing you. No big deal. She lets it go. And then Jeremy's going out with the guys. He doesn't get home until after 5:30 a.m. Laura's like, so what was up? Where were you? What was going on? He gives this whole story about how he was going to go here, and then he was going to go there, and then he got a call, so then he went over here. And he ran into Sarah Ann at the bar, and it was nothing, no big deal. But then he heard that she was mad at him, and he just had to find out why. He just couldn't let that be. So he chases her down. They go and they talk. They just sit in the car. They're just chatting in the parking lot. He's like, I shared my location. Like, it wasn't really anything. We were just talking. She's like, you were talking till 5:30 in the morning? This man, he just hand him a shovel. He's just digging. And she's just letting him talk. And then she's like, so you're telling me, like, you guys just stayed in the parking lot? He's like, well, we like pulled into an alley and like kind of, and she's like, you weren't even in that area of town. You were in the north side, north end, where, Sarah Ann lives. So you were at her house. Yikes. She served him roasted, toasted, well done. And his face when he was caught out, I wish I could have had just like a little printout, a little freeze frame of it. It was beautiful. The execution, just fabulous. But I feel so bad for her. She was supposed to meet his mom that day. Obviously that doesn't happen. He does meet with his mom, and his mom serves it to him and is like, if it had been me, I would have been waiting for you. I would have been there, the first thing you saw when you came in that door, and I would have had none of it. And he's acting confused. He's like, but I don't understand. I didn't do anything wrong. My butt. So they get to the mixer. Okay, backstory on the mixer. The mixer is a little event that Netflix hosts, and it is purely to stir up trauma, stir the pot, see what they can make happen, right? Got to keep this entertaining. So they bring in the matches that weren't chosen. Okay, so for Chelsea, this is Trevor. For Jimmy, this is Jess. And for Jeremy, it's Sarah Ann. Laura is not happy. She is like, why is she here? Cannot believe it. Why would she even show her face? Well, 80 comes to the rescue, pulls Sarah Ann aside. 80 is a beautiful woman. She's a girl's girl, and she lays it out for Sarah. She's like, why did you think that was okay? The man was engaged. Why are you messaging him? And she's like, but I didn't get the chance to say what I wanted to say. I didn't want to be a pick-me, so I just let him break up with me. I didn't, tell him how I was feeling. And when I got home, I just felt like I needed to shoot my shot. I just needed to like let him know. It's like, girl, you did not. He was a whole ass engaged man when you did that. 80 is not letting her talk her way out of this. 80 is calling her to the table. She's like, you need to see what you did. And Sarah Ann is having none of it. So finally, they split. They stop talking. Sarah Ann pulls Jeremy aside. She's crying. She's just so brokenhearted that the women see her this way. That's not how it was. Jeremy's like, of course it isn't. Of course it isn't, And it turns out, I guess, Jeremy had told Sarah Ann he was going to leave Laura. Laura didn't know that. So Laura's thinking things are great. Jeremy has told Sarah this. And, I mean, you know, Laura did end it. She did end it. What else was she going to do? So Jeremy and Sarah Ann decide to go off and jet ski together and just have a little party of two. Good luck with him. I'm so sorry. You'll lose him how you get him. And if you got him as being his little side chick for a minute, well, that's how you're going to lose him. Just telling you how it is. Let's stop in and talk about Johnny and Amy. You can't really say too much about them other than they're really cute. They have some glaringly obvious blank spots in some sexual education. Johnny's really worried about having kids. He doesn't want to have them early. So he doesn't want to be intimate unless his partner's on birth control. She's not comfortable with birth control, so she's not on it. So now, you know, they've decided to hold that and table that until they figure out how they want to handle reproduction and preventing. So that's about it. That's like their biggest trial and tribulation is the contraception discussion. Otherwise, they're adorable. They're sweet. He gets the dad's permission. It's all very cute. Chelsea and Jimmy. What to say? Okay, so the big T on Chelsea is they were talking about their celebrity lookalikes. And she said, she's a stewardess, she said that a lot of her friends and passengers say she looks like Megan Fox. She doesn't see it, but, you know, light eyes, dark hair. The face on this man when he hears that he's talking to a Megan Fox lookalike. Oh, Lord. So I knew when they saw each other in the reveal it was going to be a problem. And it was, you could tell. But they get through it. They make it through the honeymoon. They have a fight on the honeymoon. They have a fight when they get home. They have another fight later. The poor woman has an anxious attachment style. And we don't know anything about her parents, so we have no, view into why. But if you are into that kind of stuff, there are a couple of therapists on YouTube that I watch that also watch Love is Blind, and they really break it down really well. They do a lot of in-depth, insightful discussion, so I highly suggest checking them out. One of the big fights that Jimmy and Chelsea have, anxious attachment sort of distorts interactions having to do with love. So if she doesn't get her affirmations and her affection when she thinks she should and in the way she thinks she should, they don't really count. They don't register. And she gets really upset at Jimmy. She's like, you didn't kiss me all day. You didn't tell me you loved me all day. He's like, I kissed you twice. She doesn't hear it. And they have a big fight about it. And he ends up saying a thing that no man who wants to preserve his relationship should ever tell his partner. He calls her clingy. And he even goes so far as to say she initiated relations with him, and he was like, well, maybe I wanted a break from that too. Good Lord, man. The face, my jaw dropped. My eyes got as big as saucers, and I was just looking at the television like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I could not believe he just said that. My husband looks at me. We're both just like, no. This is just gone. This is over. This fight is no longer about anything else other than the fact that he called her clingy. And that's how it turns out. And they end up making up, though. They keep going. We meet some of Jimmy's friends. It turns out he's a girls' guy. All of his friends are girls. Turns out one of those girls was maybe a friends with benefits type situation, or maybe a one-time hookup. And Chelsea knows this, and she's not comfortable. She says she is, until he goes out for drinks. He's celebrating something with a friend, and she stays home and gets dirty martini drunk. That's what she calls it. and it's ugly. The ugly crying, ugly whining, just so much. And she's laying it at Jimmy like so hardcore. And apparently she wasn't supposed to talk about the fact that he had relations with one of his friends on camera. They talked about it off camera. Too much off camera. Production, I don't know what was their problem this season, but there were so many reveals and so many things that happened off camera that wouldn't have happened in the earlier seasons. I don't know if the budget's been reduced or what, but I'm very, very upset about what we've missed. Okay, so back to Chelsea and Jimmy. She brings it up. She throws it in his face. I know you effed her. You told me you effed her. And basically she's saying, I'm not comfortable with how much you talk to your friends and how you hang out with them and drink with them alone. And he's not okay with that. He's like, no, you need to be okay with the fact that I have friends that are girls and that I'm going to talk to them. And she's like, no, you talk to them too much, though. Like, I'm okay with them, but you just talk to them too much. We don't really get any insight into whether he really is talking to them too much, but she's pretty uncomfortable with it. And it gets pretty ugly. She almost ends things. And I think he ends up leaving that night, and it seems like he thinks things are over. But they come back, they make up, they're like, oh, I've never felt closer after having this argument, everything's better, just trauma bonding, it feels like, and not healthy. So they end up at the party, they're at the mixer, at least at the mixer, they're one of the least problematic couples, but Chelsea has the nerve to say they are not a top couple. She sees Amy and Johnny as the top couple because obviously they've had the least drama. They seem to be the cutest, the connection's there, and there's just been like no fighting and no obvious reasons for them to like not make it to the altar and say I do. And I think that's all she was talking about, but Jimmy is butthurt about it. He's like, well, why aren't we the top couple? She's like, I'm just joking, honey. He's like, okay, well, as long as you're just joking. It was so sad. So they leave the mixer. We end up seeing their next date. It's super cute. They go to a rented out amusement park. They have a fabulous day. And then they're having dinner and drinks. Just keep the glasses out of this woman's hand, please. She falls apart. And we leave on a cliffhanger. It sounds like he's all gung-ho. He's for sure going to make it to the altar. But he's not sure about her. He doesn't know where she's at. And that's where we end for them. Our final couple are Clay and AD. Clay is a young man who's very entrepreneurial. He's got 3 businesses going. AD is an ex-cheerleader. She also has a couple of jobs going. They're very, very cute, very sweet. AD is just a beautiful woman. She, literally a beautiful woman. She's also a beautiful soul. She's very sweet. But she calls herself a fix-a-hoe. And she's basically like, if I see red flags, I paint my nails red to go with them. And that seems to be the case. The 2 people she ends up talking to are Matthew and Clay. Matthew leaves early, and he was just a whole thing. He was rude, abrasive. He gaslit women. He says the same thing to AD and another woman named Amber. He gets caught out, and he's basically like, no, I wasn't saying the exact same thing. It's, I have these special feelings for you. Times 2. AD is not having any of it, and he's like, okay, fine then. I'm gonna leave. America loves an underdog. He literally said that. America loves an underdog, and they're gonna love me. I'm gonna win. No, sir. No, sir. We see you, and none of us love you. We are done. You go to the bin. You're out. See you later. Such a weirdo. Do not know why they picked him. Do not know what his arc was. I don't know if he was trying to play a character, but it was weird and strange and uncomfortable. And I'm glad he's gone. So, of course, AD picks Clay. And she's like, this is a man I can follow. I just get along. And I love his soul. Unfortunately, Clay comes from a broken home. His parents were married for 24 years. but his father started cheating in year 7 and would take his son on his quote-unquote business trips where he would go see his affair partners. That is so gross. Like, if you are going to step out on your marriage, don't make your children part of it. This is damaging them and how they view marriage and love. Even if you can't see that right in the minute, it is going to form them. It is going to affect all of their relationships going forward, and it does. Clay is convinced that basically cheating is genetic, and he's just going to destroy any relationship and be a cheater. And 80 is just like, well, I believe that you won't. I believe in you. I believe in us. Like, you can be better. And 80's mom, beautiful woman, supporting her daughter, love it. And she tells Clay, hey, you are not your father's son. You sin. You know what I mean? Like, you're not destined to relive their marriage. You are you, and you should leave whatever trouble they had on their plate and just move forward as yourself. Believe in yourself, believe in you, and, treat my daughter right. And I think you can do that. She obviously likes him. And that's really the big thing we see from him, other than he owns like 3 businesses and he chooses the easy route when he's working late. Instead of driving home, he just stays out, gets a hotel or sleeps in his car. And 80's like, why aren't you ever coming home? We are in this together. We're supposed to be getting to know each other, and you're never home. And I wish she had really dug into that feeling and maybe did something about it, because I'm not sure they should make it to the altar. I don't know if they say yay or nay, but they do make it to the wedding day. And so do Amy and Johnny. And that's where we leave off. We've got 2 couples at the wedding day. That's like I think the fewest amount of couples that have made it. And honestly, Amy and Johnny are the only ones I think who should get married. They're the only ones that I kind of see maybe having a chance, because I don't think Clay is going to get out of his own way, and I don't think he's going to let himself have a fulfilling, honest, solid relationship unless there's like deep couples counseling. Like, if they do say yes, I really hope they get a couples counselor and they start their marriage in counseling. Because if they do that, I think they could work. But if they don't, I don't know that they have the tools to communicate and to really have those deep down discussions about, like, why do you think you're going to be that way? What effect did your father cheating have on you? Have on how you see relationships? So I'm really sad. I'm really sad for them. They're very cute. I would have liked to see them make it. But that's where we leave off. I haven't watched the finale yet. I will come back. I'll do maybe a short or something, or maybe I'll do another Manny, and we'll talk about the reunion and the finale, and we'll see who makes it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to me ramble about Love is Blind. I've needed somebody to talk to about this, and none of my friends are watching. So maybe if this is something you guys enjoy, maybe I'll do this for the next season. They're already filmed. They're in Denver. It could be really interesting. And if I do that, I'll try to keep up with the episodes instead of trying to do everything at once. Anyways, thanks for watching. Bye.